Someone wanted me to do a video on gear changes. I'm probably not the best person to do gear changes, but I'll try and explain a little bit about it. Hopefully you can, I'll tilt this down and see if you can see this tacho. You might not be able to see it from there, but we'll see how we go. Right here we got front button is our range changer, high and low range. It's in low at the bottom, and that's our splitter. So they're half gears. It's an 18 speed. You might be able to see up here, 18 speed. So that means you can select half gears on the bottom range as well as on the top. 13 speeds, you can only do them on the top, if that makes sense. So we start in second gear. First gear is a low gear. It's right over here and down. Never use it. You may use it if you're doing big loads, wide loads, heavy loads, maybe quarry work, logging. Probably use that low gear, but you don't use it in a normal highway situation. Well, I don't anyway. So what you can do when you let the clutch off, you don't need to give any accelerator. The truck should walk off slowly with the clutch, which it does, and doesn't matter about the weight. It should always do it. I'm going to get a bit of vibration from this camera until we get going a bit. I usually give it a bit of accelerator anyway. That's just me. I like to get going, I guess. Let's look out that window so I make sure I don't hit nothing. We're just leaving the depot in Melbourne. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take it up to 1500 revs, let it drop to 12, double clutch it. Now I'm not always good at this, but we'll see how we go. Till we get going, go have a bit of vibration in that, in the camera, because it's on the side window. We've got a few cars coming. I think a train might have come. Now when you start off, you've got to really change fairly quickly. You don't have to really take it to 15 when you first gear you change. You can change it pretty quickly. Or you can take it over 15 if you like. It probably doesn't, torque's probably not there over the 15. There's a range between 12 and 15, the best way to drive in. After that it probably doesn't do much. But you've got to touch the accelerator on this truck, so it's now there's also the road speed comes into it. Every 10 kilometers an hour is you can change into another gear. So we're going to start off in second. So when you get to 10, you go into third. When you get to 20, you go to fourth. When you get to 30, you can go into fifth, and they'll always go in that sort of speeds anyway. So if you get confused, you can drop the truck down to 20 k's, and it should go into fourth gear as long as your revs are right. Theory. I don't always get it. I normally double clutch, but sometimes I can actually change with just not doing that, or you can change without even using the clutch at all. I'm not that good at that. You got to let if you change without the clutch, just let the revs drop about 50 RPM. It should come out of gear, and you should be able to get it into another gear. Keep the revs up though when you do that. I'll try and do it and show you how it works. I will make make some noise here in a minute. Put this indicator on so everyone knows where I'm going. We're in a turn lane at the moment, so it doesn't really matter too much. Alright, I'll give it a bit of an accelerator, 1500. See if we can drop it down around the 12. It's a bit of a hill there too, so you've got to be pretty quick on that one. It drops pretty quick. Probably better when I'm going straight. So 1500. Drop down and it should go in. Not smoothly all the time, but now we're going to split it. Take it up to 15 again. Hit the splitter. Just take your foot off the accelerator and it'll drop into next gear. That's high range. Well, in the split there. So they're only half gears. Come back, change up another one. Take it down to 12. Little rev just to keep it up to that 1200 and go straight in. So we're on 15 again. We can split it up another gear. Foot off the accelerator. Sometimes I use the clutch rather than just take my foot off because it's a little bit smoother change. Just touch it. And usually change, it's a bit smoother, it's not that big clunk. You've got to be, if you do it quickly, there's a bit of a clunk between the gears. Changing down, unless I'm coming up to something that I'm going to have to change. I don't usually change down gears where you... Something I was taught about economy. I just use the brakes. Or if I'm not in the city, I'll put the jakes on, slow it down, and then change when I need to. So when I come up to these lights, I won't change down. Slow the truck down, easy on the brakes. I don't usually change until I actually stop. And try and find a gear just before it comes to a complete stop. So clutch in. Put it into low range. Just before we stop, just push it into second. Now this all works in, everyone does different, there's no set way to change gears. Do what's comfortable for you and do whatever's easier for you. Whether you want to change with the clutch, whether you want to change without it. I can never usually get it, because of this touchy accelerator, I usually over rev it. I can't get it back in when I do it without the clutch. That's just me. So up to 15, changes nice. 15 again, double clutch, changes nice. Got to be pretty quick on the bottom. High range. That one didn't go in too good, but put it back down into a lower, split the gear down, split the gear again, take your foot off the accelerator and away we go. Put it down, we'll go up another gear. Now if you happen to miss one, which I do on occasions, so we'll try and change without the clutch, so we'll let it drop. Probably not going to do it. We'll let it drop down to 50 revs. Keep the gears up. Now if you put this on, so I can't always get it. Just got to find your rev range, so you can got to get it back. So if you miss a gear, put it back up to 1200 revs. it should go in. It actually does go in as well as when you're on 15. Changing down, rev it up to 1200. It should drop into gear. Now there is a lot of better tutorials, if you like, on gear changes. They do a better job than what I can. I'll explain it a little bit better. Now this all changes when you're going down a hill, because you can actually skip a gear. You can go the next higher one. You can actually start in a higher gear. Now I was down to 30 there, so I could put that into fifth gear. I think I went to 6th actually. Split the gears again, go up another one. Sometimes you don't have to if you've got the flat road. You don't have to split those gears, you can just go straight into the next top one. Just something I do, don't always do it. But that's the basics of gear changes. If I happen to be going down a hill starting off, I'll do another video on it. Probably Sydney, there's a good place in Sydney that does that. Come over top of a hill, you can actually split a gear. I'll be able to show that a bit better. Now by all means, I'm not the best gear changer in the world, and some people are natural at it. Probably notice I rest my foot on the clutch sometimes too. I'm not supposed to do that. Get into these little habits over the years. If you can, just do half gears, don't do whole gears. Sometimes they're a bit low. You will feel it. Over time you'll feel it. And you'll be able to just, I can actually probably change better without even looking at the rev counter or a speedo. Just you get to hear the noise over time and you know when to change. I might do that, I might cover that up for you and then show you that I can probably do it better without looking. Just going to leave the service centre, wash the windows, waste a bit of time. Alright, now I said I'd do this, see if I can do the gearbox changes without looking at the speedo and the tacho, so I'll cover it up and we'll see what happens. You do get used to it. And the thing is, all new drivers will probably never ever get to drive manual trucks. They'll all do automatics, because most of the trucks are now automatic. Come out of the car park. So you can just know when to change. have to start again. There's another truck coming out. Furniture deliveries by the looks of things. Nice setup. And away we go. Now, not double clutching, just getting it out of gear, just a small touches on the clutch. You can feel it when it needs to go in. If you over rev it. Split it. Probably going over the 1500, could be up to about 1800, but and you seem to be able to change. If you're not looking and just listen for it, know when to change, you'll be changed a bit better. I don't know if anyone's familiar with the Cunningham's Gap in Queensland. I'll take there a bit of paper so I know how fast I'm going. Cunningham's Gap in Queensland is when you come out of Brisbane heading south. I think it's about 8 kilometres maybe uphill. Usually get up there about 40 kilometres an hour. In about 4th gear. This particular day it was road was wet, it wasn't raining, but the road was damp pretty much all the way up. Right at the top, about 100 metres from the top, 150 metres, there's a bit of a bend to the left. And what happens when you get to that bend is it actually goes up a little bit of a rise, just a sharp rise, and you've got to change down an extra gear. Well, I missed that gear one time. And you could imagine what happened. I actually got the truck, missed the 3rd gear, couldn't get in, got it down to 2nd. You can imagine what happened when the road was wet. I got a B double, fairly heavy. Well, she spun out on me, didn't it? It's come to a stop right at the top of the hill on the CB. Calling anyone that might be coming up behind me, they've actually come to a stop. I was lucky I managed to get it into 1st gear and creep it away. Got over the top of the hill, just creeped it up. There's things that happen if you happen to miss a gear at the wrong time at the wrong place. Also had another time going up, same thing, coming out of Brisbane, heading south. Went up the Toowoomba range, had an old their FLD Freightliners, one with the little tiny windows in them, had the little racing shift. This particular truck, they never had override switches on the fans. When I was never used to really overheat, but it used to once it got up to 100, it used to all the lights used to start flashing, and probably just got to the sensor. And what happened this day is I was going up Toowoomba range, and it started to get over the 100 mark and shut down on me. All the lights started flashing, so to try and keep the revs up to get the fan to actually kick on, but it didn't actually come on. So it starts to shut down. You have to start changing down gears because it starts to lose power. And I'm going down all these gears. Anyway, I get to 2nd and it just run out of gears. I've only got 1 to go. Well, another time it come to a stop on the hill. There's dual lanes up there, so trucks can go round you, hazards on. Put into first gear. I was just lucky enough, one of our company drivers doing a dog run with the with the road trains up there, picking up a trailer to take it back to Brisbane. He ended up coming past and called me up and said, can you need some hand? I'll just wait at the top of the hill if you need a hand to come up the hill. And he's waited at the top for me, and I was about 2 kilometres for top, just creeping up the hill at about 6 kilometres an hour. Wasn't going to chance changing into second, so I stayed in first gear. So I didn't want to start again and maybe come to another stop, so I just did that. Wasn't far to go, so I just creeped over the top of the hill. Once I got there, it cooled down by that time a little bit while I was in first gear as well, so got to the top of the hill, just let it run. It's a lot of downhill from there, so it cooled down. And I stopped about 5 or 10 kilometres. A little, well, I shouldn't say a little parking bay, because road trains used to pull in there. There was a little servo up the top. I waited there for a while, cooled the truck down. Went and got a drink, and I was on my way again. It was fine from then on. Just one of those things with some trucks, you know about them, and I believe this was the same truck that used to run out of, one time I was heading north up to Brisbane, used to run out of water every 500 kilometres, just get below the sensor and come to a stop. And I had to put about 5-10 litres of water in it. I had some 2 litre drink bottles and filled it up past the sensor again. They just do another 500 kilometres and then stop. But they didn't want to fix it. I told them about it, called them up. They said just keep going. And the funniest thing is I actually brought it back. They didn't fix it in Brisbane either. I brought it back. Done the same thing all the way back from Brisbane to Melbourne. So I had to keep these. Ended up stopping at West Wyalong, and they gave me some old drink bottles still with the drink in. I thought that maybe I should just put the old Diet Pepsi in the radiator. It's going to run out anyway, but I ended up emptying it, just topping up with water. So it's going to run out anyway. Maybe it would have done it good with the Pepsi in it. But that's just things you've got to put up when you're driving, and you're persistent with it, and you get the job done. And wasn't really harming the truck. It wasn't overheating or anything. It was just going below that sensor just to shut it down. Just annoying. But I guess they didn't want to get a call out, spend the money on the road, or fix it out of there was no depot or workshop up in Brisbane, so they didn't want to get someone out. It's going to cost them a lot of money. I can understand that. But you do what you got to do, and you get it where you got to go. Well, it's starting to get a bit dark now, so I'll leave it there. This door's open a little bit. You might be able to hear a bit of wind. It's the door's a little bit open, so I'll have to try and close it. Now the trouble is when you've got both windows closed, you close the doors a bit of an airlock. You don't pull on it hard until we'll put the window down. It doesn't close properly. So we're still in Victoria. You've got to go through New South Wales yet, or it's 6 hours through New South Wales. It is a Sunday, so no hurry. We'll eventually get there. Have a good sleep on Sunday night. Get up, have some breakfast, and go again Monday night. So we usually have about 17-18 hours break in Sydney. It's usually my best day coming back Tuesday, because I've had a good rest. Or on the Monday night to Tuesday, it's usually a good rest. So I get don't usually get too tired, or don't have to use it to stop too often. leave it there and I'll talk to you soon.